Good evening, everyone. There's going to be a lot of poets. This is going to be an amazing event. You know, I'm not going to blather on up here. I'm going to jump right into it. And for the time that I'm going to have to bug out of here very soon. I got to go and get my little one I live at one end of the city and she lives at the other. She's with grandma right now, so I've got to get up there and get her in bed. She's 4, so I may have to leave very soon afterwards, but I decided the time I couldn't spend with all of you here, I spent getting ready because it takes time to look this good, just so you know. Hey man, it's true. So, you know, in honor of the Great Black North and Black history and all that jazz, the first poem I'd like to do is one of my favorites, and you know, it's to let Black people remember that you can't be divided and still be one. I mean, we're all one anyway. We're all connected, but I've had my issues with all kinds of people, and you know, that means some Black people too, and that was one of the reasons I wrote this poem called Mediums. I swallow some blackboard paint so I can paint the word. Ain't a word, spitting ink or chalk, I still talk. A fax machine paradox proper, true stopper. Can't stop me or mock me. Your PMCs can't top me. When a brother gets a hold of technology, it's microphone recology. Dealing with your lame foot and counts the puppetology. I offer no apology for bovine or swine, domesticated equine from mankind, my own mind. Up and mixed artistic with linguistic. And I slung a hot rot like Basquiat when he brought the black thought. Bleeding paint upon paper, he changed and then deranged the sight of man, the earth raper. He closed the eye caper, and some years later, since my brother's life broke, I realize I am a smudge, a perfect brush stroke with pretty colors, pretty colors. I am orange and yellow and red. I surprised myself when poetically bled myself. I was tongue twisted up like a dread with thoughts that rot sticking up in my head, thrust back to life like Lazarus. Strife had me strike me a hazardous pose, wide open with wrists and neck exposed. Liquid life trickling eclectic flows from my veins, pure fire, voodoo rains, funeral pyre. My heated aspiration to be an element, not simply elemental or even instrumental, but a song in a symphony with self-pity sympathy. I'm conducting those in the first row who think they know. I make them all play second fiddle if they don't jump out the middle and flee like they was escaping the passage. Feces and vomit on the slavery comet founded inspiration in black and broken bones. The sounds of the lands that we call our homes, and we can all hear it, drawn to its timbre like whips to cracks, licks to backs, feet to axe. Funny how we stood taller when we lost our toes and held our heads high in a regal manner, defined the yokes, learning the language to create great stains. Kings and queens now bound in chains and walking like gods, unlike the ghosts of our gracious hosts now passed on to the land of duppies, weighted down by the shackles of brutality that they constructed. Inside the hall of shame, each one has been inducted back to the books, back to the beginning, back to the future, what we were and what we are. Back in the black, hiding in the back row, back in the black like these cats don't know. Black like my namesake, black like death row, black like rum cake, black like afro, black like my taekwondo brothers afro dojo. Because you can't make wake a blank slate, because on the willing you can't reap a rape. I take your shots like I'm in the Russian system, off the shoulder, wrist straight to the throat. I'm a diss 'em, and I'm a talk louder, and I'm a walk prouder. I'm leading by design because this hour's mine. I leave you with the fever, then your lip catch a slap from the Anosha Bashobi Ingalosi of rap. This here is the evolution, amoeba to man, grunts to griots, slavery to bravery, cryptic like messages written on rice, rolled up in blunt papers, burned like our foremothers at the stake, hung like our forefathers dancing from trees, a painful slow waltz done in black and broken knees. Please, 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 help me find the method. I talk so much that my teeth itch and my hair hurts. Lyrical spurts. I try and I try and I try. You say you want a sensitive man and then you hate me when I cry. I gotta internalize and re-energize and represent because you know my words quick, clever, can never be spent. And in this industry, no poem C mediocrity can mess with me. Peace, peace, leaf to Cool Keith. He's a poet. As a poet, black is poetry. See? Thank you very much. I'm going to read this poem that got published in the Great Black North. It's pretty much about my I have lots of issues. Read it yourself, okay? I'm an issue boy for sure. But it's titled I Can, and one of the reasons that I did write this poem is because when I became an expatriate and left Toronto and moved here to Calgary, I realized that I can move across the country. I can be a great poet. I can do anything. I've realized that. And that was one of the driving forces behind me writing this poem, was actually my accomplishments as a person, as a poet, and as a good human walking this earth. So I'd like to thank everyone who put this together, all the poets who are in it. I would like to thank Sherry D. Wilson for having this festival. I'd like to thank all of you guys for coming out and participating. So before I perform this poem, a round of applause for everyone involved, all you guys. After a decade of delivery on the MIC, unbelievably, people still asking me, what can you do with poetry? That question used to make me angry. It used to make me hot. Now I tell them, have a seat, and I ask them how much time they got. For you see, with poetry, I can duly dance down them same halls of learning where I once had the yearning to be a well-accomplished human with a 4.0, but my GPA was sadly way far below. I never got the knack of the educational flow. They made me sit still, so I stood still. I can confidently, comfortably cruise through classrooms where I was once coerced to create a captured, cornered mental state so I could clearly create a way to hate my own mind by my educators. They were eduhators. They formed a form to form my formative years, tainted with intolerance and a tidal wave of tears that sailed all of my dreams away from me. For they likened my self-image with one of stupidity. It was all that I heard, and all that I could see. I can now be free. Where I was once imprisoned by a mental prism, my errant splayed thoughts were like hot-colored rocks, endless ammunition for the slings of possibility, but impossibly, all of my targets eluded me, for I was living in the kingdom of couldn't be me. I couldn't see the lock, so I didn't need the key. And when they finally let me go, they said, "You don't know poetry." I can versify being victimized into a valiant victory. Verify that when you vilify, you eventually got to deal with me. The transformation was tremendous. I took the word stupid and I made it stupendous. I began to manhandle the land, a language that languished in apathetic and anonymous anguish. I did decide to dissect and divide indefinitely, indubitably, what diction was doing to me. Stab a psyche with a simile. Sometimes step off left to us, sometimes left a center C so as to step off into a soliloquy. Ale the English alphabet with an oral atrocity. I can wear the face of mental agility, dispel the myth of dental fragility, and proudly embrace my so-called disability. ADD, ADHD, OCD, PTSD. Now I've made an acronym for maniac out of me, and never once before have I so ever loved ME. I can turn my inventive imagination into a physical infatuation, not like sugar, not the hard refined, not like sweetener, not the artificial kind. I don't need heroin because I'm a hero in my own mind. Spend some time with my mentality, and what I did find is I can learn. And poetry taught me when the truth is unfurled, I'm the only one man who can change my world, so I can do anything. What can I do with poetry? I ask you, why don't you tell me?